Okay, lovely. Hello and welcome to the TikTok workshop that the Independent Media Association is putting on. Claudia, who's a little bit of a viral star on TikTok, is going to be doing our presentation. I'm going to try and do some things that give it context around what we're doing for independent media. But what I want to originally preface this with is just saying we're actually going to be talking about unbroken ground here, insofar as whilst TikTok, as we're going to discuss, is this hugely important platform of social media, it is and it is used to share information, lots of information. It's not about dancing, if that's what you think it is. It isn't being used by establishment media or or existing journalistic platforms particularly effectively at the moment. There hasn't been some sort of formula that has been created, so we can't just pass on what's the best way to do things, but that means that we can kind of discover those things together. And as Claudia has who's the communications officer of Independent Media Association, can tell you, she's had videos with several million views, so it shows you what can be done. Hello, I'm Thomas Barlow. I'm the treasurer of the Independent Media Association, and I am the host tonight. But we're going to crack straight on. Claudia, let's talk about TikTok.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Claudia. I've pretty much put everything that I'm going to say on the slides as well, just because obviously I know a few people aren't going to be here, so I'm going to be sending the slides around. But we're going to start off. Why is TikTok important? Now TikTok is important because it is the chosen platform for young people. Over half of the demographic on there are under the age of 30. And obviously young people are essentially our future with whatever campaigns or whatever stories you want to push out there. Now, secondly, TikTok is important because it enables essentially anyone to be a creator of videos. It has really advanced built-in app editing tools, so you can. Recently, they actually had an update, which means you can edit clips the same way you would in Premiere or Final Cut, and move them around, and move the sound around, which is great because it's a free app and you get all of these editing tools for free. So you really don't spend anything on production, and you're able to push out really high quality content. Now, the other reason it is great is because TikTok, as much as it is a content sharing platform, it is actually also a search engine. It has its search bar is used as a search engine. A lot of you can literally, the same way you would as Google, you can type in a question being like, who did this onto TikTok, and you will have an explainer video on that topic. There's even like a running joke on Twitter of a lot of young people saying that they no longer actually use Google, they just go for all of their answers to TikTok. So that in itself kind of tells you how much power TikTok has in that sense. Now, lastly, TikTok is important because obviously as society goes on and we become more reliant on technology, our attention spans shorten and shorten. Now, TikTok enables you to, TikTok originally started with just 15-second videos. You are now able to do 15 seconds, 60 seconds, and anything between that, and also 3 minutes and anything between 60 seconds and 3 minutes. But until you have an established platform of like a good following, the best way to get there is short form content, which is the 15-second clips. And it sounds ridiculous to be able to get something like a story into 15 seconds, but it is doable in formats of like social commentary, or if you just, I'll get onto different types later on in this presentation. Tom, next slide,
Cool.
please.
Just to add a little context for independent media. Well, first off, just to let you know, we're going to send around it, and on the YouTube, this will be a YouTube video as well. We will have links to a collection of articles that give you some information. Actually, you can follow the IMA.press on TikTok. You can see the videos we've liked, and they'll give you some context about what's possible with TikTok and why it's important and what's going on in social media generally and sharing information. So we'll have all those videos. But one of the most important things to note is TikTok was the #1 downloaded app in the world in 2021, and it's the #1 downloaded app in the UK in 2021. I think it was in 2020 as well, and it continues to be so now. It's an ever-growing platform, and this comes at the same time as Facebook has announced record losses of around 10 billion. A couple of months ago, it announced these, and that created the largest single share drop in US history of any company, okay, around about $330 billion. And the reason for those losses is because Facebook is no longer maintaining people's attention. It's done too much with the platform. There's too many. It's just bought up lots and lots of things, and it doesn't work. The algorithm doesn't work. People don't want to stay on there. You might have Facebook as a login, and a lot of younger people under 30 don't even have that. But increasingly, even the people who've got the logins don't spend time on it, and that's why it lost so much money. People do not spend time on it. It's not any of the political reasons, anything like that. It's just simply that it's an unused app. Instagram is going the same way, and they're constantly trying to make changes to try and not die, but they are dying. They've oversaturated it with adverts. They've added too many things. TikTok is a very simple platform. Short videos, search bar, create videos. That's what it is. So it's hugely important. But check out the article that we put in that shows you 20 important stats about TikTok when you're thinking about whether it's going to be useful for you in your organization. Okay, basics.
Okay, so what do you need to know to get started? This is basically a step-by-step guide on how to make your first TikTok video. Because if I'm being honest, I'm established on TikTok now, but when I first went on TikTok, I literally shut the app down within like 10 seconds because I was like, this looks confusing. But once you get the hang of it, it's actually very easy. So all you need to make a TikTok is an Apple or Android phone with a working front and back camera. Ideally, an iPhone rather than an Android phone, just because the app is, just like most apps, is more compatible with an iPhone. There's certain editing features that you will not have access to on an Android phone, or they will be just somewhere else that I cannot direct you in. So this step-by-step guide is specifically for creating a TikTok video on an iPhone. But essentially, to make a TikTok video, you need to, when you open up the app, you have a bottom bar, a bar along the bottom of the screen, and right in the middle of it, there will be a plus sign. All you have to do is click that plus sign, and then you will have the option of either uploading content that you've already pre-recorded and you just want to put onto TikTok. And all you have to do in that case is in the right hand bottom corner, there will be a little gallery symbol that says upload. Click that, and then you can select whatever clips you want to put in, and then you are still able to edit them in the app, whether you want to add music to the back of it or you want to cut a piece and add another clip. You're able to do all of that. If you want to record directly within the app, when you've clicked the plus sign, you will be brought up obviously to a camera screen, and then obviously you can flip your camera, whether you want to use your front camera or your back camera. And at the bottom of the screen, there will be an option to either select 15 seconds, 60 seconds, or 3 minutes. Now, that sounds like it's not important, but it is, because if you select 3 minutes, you are still able to make a 15-second video. But if you select 15 seconds, you can't change the time afterwards to then make it 3 minutes. So if you accidentally start recording something really important on 15 seconds and then you cut out, you've lost that footage basically, because you can't go back and do anything with it. Now, to record, all you have to do is click the big red button that's right on the screen, and you can press it and start it as many times as you want. You can stop it after every second. Say you want to flip the camera onto something else, or you want to record something in the morning, something in the evening. You're able to just draft the video and go back to recording it whenever you want. To add a sound, at the top of the screen, there will be a little music note with an oval grey bar. And all you have to do is click that little bar, and it will take you to TikTok's very own music library, and you have access to millions of sounds. Now, that's either trending sounds, which could be like sounds that are from 3 seconds to 15 seconds long, or it's actual songs, or sometimes it's snippets from like famous snippets from films, or famous snippets of like something Doris Johnson said and people are taking the piss out of it. It can be anything. They have millions of different sounds, and you can obviously use these as either background music, or you can use them to play with them and kind of make like a commentary on something that's going on. Now, when you are ready to publish your video, whether you've used up all of your time or you've still got some time left, you will have in the right hand bottom corner, there will be a tick, like a pink tick. All you have to do is click that tick, and this will take you to, it will show you a preview of your video. And you can obviously watch it. If it doesn't look right, you can go back, change some stuff. And if you're all okay with it, so this is really crucial because TikTok recently had an update where you can now post TikTok stories, and you have two options at the bottom of the screen. One says next and the other one says post a story. You have to make sure you click next, and that will let you draft your video or post it directly to your feed. If you accidentally click post a story, the video will disappear after 24 hours and it won't be on your feed. And you can, yes, it will be saved to your phone, but TikTok watermarks all of its videos. And the only way to get rid of the watermark is if you pay for an app that does that. So no one really wants to be doing all of that. So just it's something to keep in mind, because I've recorded like whole 3-minute videos and then accidentally posted it to my story and had all of that footage just be lost. Oh yeah, and when you click next, you are presented with, so once you click the tick, shows you a preview of your video, click the next button. Once you click the next button, it will show you essentially a publishing page where you can add your caption, add hashtags. You can select whether you're allowing people to comment on the video. You can select whether you want auto-generated captions, which is basically subtitles. You can select whether you want, now these are actually very accurate. I know a lot of social media apps do subtitles and they're off. TikTok will do it very accurately, and if you swear, it will include the swear word. Whatever you say, like, it doesn't really filter stuff out. And it will also allow you to select if you want people, allow people to duet and stitch your videos, which is something I will explain in a couple of slides. And once you do that, you obviously have the option of either drafting the video if you want to say post it when your engagement is better, you've got like more of your followers are online, or you can just post it straight up. And that is how you make a TikTok video.
Cool. Yeah, there's not much to add other than to say that Claudia's right about when you first go on the app, it can be quite overwhelming. One of the other things that is quite overwhelming about it is that if you don't know what you're looking for, how to use it, your screen is going to be full of your feed is just going to be full of toss, basically stuff that you don't want, because it's going to be trying to work it out. So again, I'm just going to recommend it again. Check out ima.press when you go on make it the first port of call when you go on TikTok, and then follow the 20 or 30 accounts that the ima.press account is following. They're not all newsy ones. Some of them are like podcasts, some of them are funny. They're just examples of different successful types of TikTok that will be really useful, because once you're following them, your feed will start to, look like something you might actually want to spend some time doing. And also, as I say, if you go to ima.press, you can see the 15 or so videos that the IMA has liked, and they're useful little guides about social media. Okay, next slide.
Okay, so as I mentioned previously, TikTok recently had an update, which means you can actually create a TikTok story. Now, creating a TikTok story, you follow exactly the same steps as creating a regular video. You can have them be 3 minutes long, you can have them be 60 seconds, however long. You can edit them the same way. The only difference is when you get to the screen that shows you a preview of your video, you will click the button in the left hand bottom corner and click post a story, and it will be visible for 24 hours. People can comment on it, like it, share it the same way they would a regular TikTok. The only difference is it's only up there for 24 hours. And now, sorry, I saw something about questions and I thought a question was coming. That's why I paused for like 5 seconds. No. Okay, how to live stream. Now, this is a very simple process. When you open up the record screen to record a TikTok video, right at the bottom, there will be like a little bar that's almost faded away, and it will say camera, story, templates, live. And all you have to do is slide your finger across that bar to where it says live, and then you will be brought onto a screen that lets you set a title and a description for your live stream, and then you just click go live and you're live on TikTok. And we will get onto the benefits of going live on TikTok in the next few slides. But yeah, those are essentially the 3 forms of video that you can do on TikTok: lives, stories, and feed. But feeds and lives are the main the ones that TikTok kind of pushes. Stories are just, they're more for established creators to kind of be able to communicate little updates to their followers and stuff like that. It's not something that I would dwell too much of your attention into. Did you want to add anything onto that, Thomas, or should I go on with this?
No, let's go into extra content, because I think just to say that, like, these are the practical things, but we're going to start talking about how, like, these are things you might come back to. We're rushing through these bits. We're going to talk about the broader stuff coming on, like why would you do this and what would you do if you're on here. The good thing to remember about all of this is it can be done on your phone. It's not like switching to YouTube or email. You need to get a whole load of new stuff. Like, it's all on your phone. Okay, next bit.
Okay, so extra content that you have. I've done it in a specific way, but I'm just going to start with the easiest ones. So I'm actually going to go bottom up. So auto-generating captions are basically just subtitles. But the thing is, TikTok has a very large community of people with disabilities. So that is why they tried really hard to ensure that their auto-generated captions are actually accurate. So I would always recommend making sure you use them whenever you create a video. Like I said, it's as simple as switching a little toggle and it will generate them for you. And that's that. And you do have the option of going back and changing them if there is a mistake, but quite often they are accurate. So yeah. Now stitching is allows you to basically combine your content with a video that already exists. So say you're scrolling down TikTok and you see a video of someone saying, in your opinion, what's the worst thing that Boris Johnson has ever done? You would be able to click these 3 little dots on the side of their video, stitch this video, and what would happen is you would select whatever length of their video you want. So you could just select that at the moment where they ask the question. And then adding on to that, you would be able to record yourself being like, oh, I think the worst thing Boris Johnson has ever done, blah, 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 blah. Now, these usually do quite well because TikTok loves people using the features that they've added inside the app. So yeah, that's stitching. Now, something very similar to this is duetting. Now, duetting is basically doing a split screen video with someone. So say you've come across a video of someone doing something you don't like. You could then duet the video and it'll be a side-by-side video, and you could record your live reaction to whatever they're doing. You can turn your microphone if you want to speak, or it could just be based on your facial expressions or your body language. So that is what duetting and stitching is. Now, the last bit of extra content on TikTok would be trending sounds. This is something that I recommend everyone use, and it sounds, a lot of the time when you recommend trending sounds, it sounds like something you can't incorporate, but they're actually quite easy to incorporate. So these are key to going viral on TikTok. And the app has, like I said previously, the app has its own music sound library where it points, and it actually has a segment that points out all of the trending sounds within that week. So you don't have to like look for them yourself. Although you can follow in marketing pages on TikTok that will tell you what sounds are trending at the moment, but TikTok does that for you itself. And the way you can use these is obviously if you've got, if you're resharing a long piece of content, you can put it as, if you're using a song, you can put it as a song in the background and you can mute it all the way or mute it to like 20%. So it's just a faint sound in the background. Now, the other way, which is the way that I would recommend, is using actual sound snippets. So I'm trying to think of an example, but it would be something like, say you have a clip of someone, a sound from someone in the movie being like, no, I don't want to do that. You could then do like a record yourself front to camera, basically just mouth that, and then do a caption of something like when someone tells you to pay more taxes, and then you're like, no, I don't want to do that. So there's loads of ways that you can incorporate it. There's also there's also trends that are just sounds, and people like dump a bunch of information. It would just be like you in the background with the song playing, and in like a whole little dump of information of like, oh, did you know that like the UK is one of the biggest arms suppliers to Saudi Arabia? And then people are able to have a debate in the comments. So sounds are very important in going not viral, but like being more recognized on TikTok, or like even coming up on the For You page.
Cool.
Sorry, I feel like this is a lot of information in one.
Yeah. We like, I tell you what we'll do. I might pick some of these bits up and push us through a couple of the slides so we can get to the broader themes, and then when it comes to answering some specifics about creation, we can do that. So I'll do this one on making money, just because like We can
No,
we can do.
but you don't understand how the live streaming and the third party sponsorship work.
Okay, well, I do know the third party sponsorships, but I'll hand it over to you for live streaming. Go on
Do
then.
you know the app Zebra? Do you know the app Zebra? See, thank you. Okay, so 3 ways of making money on TikTok: the TikTok Creator Fund, live streaming and gifting, and third-party sponsorships. TikTok Creator Fund, basically, once you get to 10,000 followers on TikTok, you essentially just get money for your views and engagement. Now, the way TikTok works out your money, it isn't just straight by views. They will compare your likes to your views, and you can cash out every 30 days after the end of that month. So say you made money in January, 30 days after January ends, you can cash out. And all you need is either a working bank account or a PayPal account. That is that. Live streaming and gifting. Once you reach 1,000 followers on TikTok, you are able to start live streaming. And during these live streams, TikTok has a massive community of people who just love to gift people who they agree with or who they like to watch. And basically, during these live stream, viewers are able to send you in-app gifts, which happens way more frequently than you would expect, and you can then also cash them out the same way you would your TikTok Creator Fund. Now, obviously, one gift is only probably worth like 5p, but if you've got a couple of hundred viewers in one go and you live stream at least once a week, it's still better than no income at all, and it does accumulate to something. Now, the third one is third-party sponsorship, which is pretty self-explanatory. TikTok is a hub for brand deals and sponsorship between creators and thingies. So obviously, you can have brand sponsorship where if you've got a good enough following, a brand whose goals align with yours can reach out to you and be like, look, if you shout us out in this video, or you wear something from our brand in your video when making it, then we will pay you for it. Now, obviously, in terms of journalism, this might not work as well for that kind of content, but there is apps like this app that I use called Zebra, which basically gives creators exclusive access to sounds and songs that music artists are trying to push, and they're trying to market. So basically, and Zebra is not like an app that you have to get invited to. You can literally just sign up on it, and depending on your followers, that's how much you set your price per video to be. But you just set up your profile on there, and you will have marketing companies send you a song being like, hey, we're trying to push this song. If you can make a video to it, please do. And then, so for something like, say you share a clip of a podcast and you wanted to add some background music add some background music to it, you can mute it a little bit, not fully obviously, because the song actually has to be there, and you're making between 26 to 60 pounds just for using that song. And with Zebra, you get about 3 submissions a week, so it's an additional about 30 to something pounds a week, depending on how much you charge obviously per video. And then lastly, of course, you can link back to your donation page or YouTube channel using either the link in your bio or the pinned comment feature in video. So if you have a video and you want to link someone back to like either your YouTube page or like donation, you have a donations page, then you can pin a comment being like, this is how you can go donate, and you can also add the link to your bio. So that's that.
Yeah, and just to underline the pinned comment bit, and that's the most effective way, because people might not click through to your channel, but they would, but like lots of people check the comments. So the pinned comment is used, is obviously the first comment, and is, has the highest click-through rate and stuff like that. And also TikTok is so far notoriously pays considerably less than YouTube or something like that. So if you're looking to generate income, then TikTok may not be the one for you, but it may be if these things work for you. But it also may be a useful way to promote your other work or your other methods of getting income, and we'll talk a bit more about that shortly. Top tips. Okay, yeah, okay, this is going to be
I'm just gonna read off the slide, and that's it.
yeah.
Okay. Use trending hashtags, no more than 4 hashtags per video. Don't just dump them. TikTok does, when you type in a caption and you click the hashtag button, it will have blue ticks next to the hashtags that are trending. So it's always a rule of thumb to use those. And then obviously any other hashtags that might relate to the story or whatever you're talking about in your video. Always use hashtag FYP. That is what will get you on the For You page. And the For You page is basically like, if you use Instagram, it's the explore page. It's the timeline of TikTok. And if you don't use the hashtag For You page, it doesn't really, your video won't essentially make it there. Number 2, following TikTok trends and challenges is key. Just make sure to incorporate them into your own content / the messaging that you're trying to put out there, which obviously we touched on that earlier. Utilizing TikTok's features, whether that's filters, sounds, effects, stitching, or duetting. The more you use them, the more TikTok values your content and is more likely going to push it within its algorithm. Like I said previously, 50% of all TikTok users are under the age of 34. So it's something to consider when constructing your messaging or even deciding if it's worth your time to put your content on there. Number 5, engage with others, like their comments, reply to their comments. TikTok has a feature where you can actually reply to a comment with a video. So say you've done a story about something and someone's commenting asking for more information, rather than having to just type it out, you can respond with a follow-up video, and those usually do really well. And lastly, acknowledge them during live streams. If someone says something during a live stream, reply to their question, or just acknowledge. If they send you a gift, say thank you. 6, post consistently. Post consistently. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted by the thingies. Post consistently, but remember quality over quantity within the new TikTok algorithm. Depending on your content style, you will be posting either 2 to 3 times a day or once every day. However, when you're first kickstarting a TikTok profile, I would advise doing at least 2 to 3 posts a day, but no throwaway content. So don't just put content to be putting content out there. Obviously, you can reuse clips from previous things you've done. That is totally fine. But don't just make a pointless video just to try and fill up the gaps. Now, lastly, looking at your analytics is crucial, as they're very, very accurate and help you determine when to post and what to post, unlike Instagram, which is more of a brief overview. I've literally previously looked at my analytics and watched them change in real time as I'm watching them. So TikTok is really accurate. The more I try and follow them, the better my videos usually do.
Cool. Just a couple of things to underline there. Definitely use the hashtag FYP. Have to do that. Like, can't understate that. And also around the posting times, like I was going to talk about this at a later point, but platforms that we know that are on there, like say Navara Media and stuff like that, actually only post 2 to 3 times a week. And it might be that, like, so the method here is for viral creators who are developing their own personal brand, but organizational brands might be fine with 2 to 3 times a week, maybe even less. So don't overwhelm yourselves with like thinking you've got to do a thing, but do try and go in with your first few videos being really good and quite closely released together. But you don't necessarily have to be producing at this level to make TikTok work for you to promote your work and other things. So we'll talk about that a bit more in a tick. Yeah.
Do you want to cover this one? I've kind of got some little pointers for you, but you can. The bit at the bottom is basically what you were saying earlier. Journalism is fairly new on the platform, so great opportunity to take away.
Yeah, like, yeah, there's so I try to pick out types of content that are big on TikTok that are actually quite useful for independent media, because you know what you don't get. It's not a one-to-many platform. It's not, say, like Twitter. Sometimes you just post a link to your article or something like that. Obviously, you've got to do something that's a little bit more interesting, but it doesn't have to be wildly interesting, because the information that you guys have is already interesting. So you can do something as simple as political social commentary, which is just telling people, we've just done an article today, we've just done an investigation, we've just done a piece on this, and Evolve have just started to do this. They start off with a big heavy quote of something that Boris Johnson said, and they say, well, actually, is this true, or whatever. And they're doing that as slideshow images, but you could just do it straight to camera, look in the camera. So today we've released this big story, and we're talking about, you know, why the current government is not doing what it should do on climate change. Remember also, it should be structured like an article. Start off with the headline, start off with an attention grabber, start off with either a question or something, you know. Don't just try and do the who, what, why, where, when, like give all the story in the first bit. Say something that grabs the attention, because you've got basically the first second or 2 seconds to make someone stick and watch your video. So but it's still like article writing. You're just trying to grab their attention with that opener, and then you can get into the detail. And also clip and cut it so it's fast edited, you know, so that you speak at quite a rapid pace and stuff like that. You can see that both myself and Claudia are talking quite fast. That will work. Another thing for those people who do podcasts is TikTok is very much used as sort of an advertising platform to advertise your podcast. Your podcasts are obviously long form content. They don't go on TikTok, but if you've been doing a good podcast, there are clips, there are sometimes it can be simple as, you know, a 5-10 second thing where someone says absolutely brilliant, or it's like a very favored one is getting stories from listeners who are talking about a personal experience or something that relates to them. You might be doing something political on, say, the NHS, and we've got a story from a nurse here who's, you know, saying what it's like to work in whatever it is. Share that story and then end the clip with you going, well, we've got something to say about that, and then that can be used as a podcast or YouTube advert. And there was a question there about like going from horizontal to vertical, because TikTok's all recorded in vertical, YouTube is always in horizontal. And it is a bit of a bugger. You can tell that like a lot of podcasts have been recorded for YouTube, and you get this close-up shot, you know, and sometimes people are out of shot. But do you know what tends not to matter? If the content's good, if it's interesting, just make sure the content is interesting. And then thirdly, look at TikTok specific content. So these are all the things that Claudia's been talking about. So because I've been trying to highlight here ways that journalists can work on it. So do commentary, reshare your long form YouTube or podcast footage. And all your podcasts, you should be sort of video recording now if you can, rather than audio recording. But yeah, do things where you're just on the page and there's a big hot topic. Like at the moment, it's the strikes. You know, get on the hashtag of strikes and put your piece. Like we've been covering strikes for, you know, 5 years, or we've been covering strikes in Rwanda, or whatever it is, and put your spin on a trending topic, you know. Yes, and you've added in a bit at the bottom here, Claudia, if you want to speak to that.
Oh, well, just the fact that obviously there are, don't get us wrong, there are mainstream media platforms and other platforms, journalistic platforms, that have TikTok accounts, but all they do is just take what they'd put on TV or whatever and just slap it onto TikTok, and it doesn't really do very well. So this is uncharted territory basically. So there is a lot of opportunity to pave the way within what you want to do. Like for example, the way I run Bywire's TikTok is I do a lot of TikTok content that I record directly in TikTok, and it's usually me just complaining about the way things are in our political sphere. And we've had maybe about 10 videos go viral. And obviously, I'm not saying that will work for everyone, but there are ways in which you can do this. So I think it's for those people who think it's worth their time. Then I would say if it's something really worth looking into.
Yeah,
I got tongue twisted at the end, but yeah.
Yeah. No, there's certainly, you know, again, like we said, a couple of other things that have worked for journalists is Vox Pops. Those do really well on TikTok. You're out in the street, ask people some questions, get those back. Politics Joe, which is one of the channels that IMA.press follows, they're very good at doing Vox Pops on, you know, Partygate, on strikes, on cost of living crisis, and they get some interesting people saying some interesting things on the street. That's something that you can do and that's a little bit more high content production. You know, the simplest thing is just get your camera and talk about the work that you're doing, because you're doing great work already and people will listen to it. You're just telling stories, you know, and that's all it is. And we're moving from telling stories in a written form to telling stories like we used to tell stories in an oral form to each other. Where there has not been much crossover in that previously, which has been moving on to YouTube, is because you've tended to need to put a lot of effort into production. TikTok, once you get on it, you can just do it to your phone. You know, you can and you can start trying to make this quite quick. You know, do a practice couple of days where you like record 25, you know, in a couple of days till you feel like you've got it, and then you could just start banging them out. That's a personal thought of mine, but we will find out by doing this together whether it's worthwhile. Okay, and we're through to questions.
Do you want
So
me to attack? Okay, so
yeah,
someone asked, I don't know if the person who asked this is here, but someone asked if we get click-throughs to our website, Buywire in particular. Now, unfortunately, this is not information I can get because I do not have access to our website analytics tool, and I wasn't able to get it in time. But we do have we have gained a substantial amount of more of followers on Instagram, and the way TikTok is in the same little segment where it would say where it would have the link to our website, it has an Instagram icon. So I am going under the assumption if people are quick to click our Instagram icon and follow us on Instagram, then I'm assuming it wouldn't be that bad of a click-through rate. I know that statistically, me and Thomas actually spoke about this. Statistics show that the click-through rate is really bad, but that's because you have to take into consideration a lot of the time what links people have in their bios is influencers trying to sell products, and they're obviously been paid to put a link in their bio, so they will be making videos being like, oh, click the link in my bio, click the link in my bio. So people don't obviously want to do that. So that is, considering how little journalism and stuff like that there is on the platform, I don't think that click-through rate can really be applied to something that people would actually care about, rather than just trying to sell them crap.
Yeah, so basically, and we'll end on this and then we'll open up to the questions that we've already got in the comments. And if you've got any other questions, put them in the comments bit here. There is there's this question: is it going to be worth the effort? Is it going to be worth the effort for independent media? And that's because if you're independent media, you're usually earning money from one of three ways, right? You're earning it through like subscribers, through small advertising deals with ethical organizations, or through grant funding, or often a mixture of those three. And so is it going to say build your email list, your YouTube subscriber list, or whatever you use, because both of those have the highest conversion rate of subscribers to donors? Are you going to build your donors through that? And that's why we were addressing the click-through rate. Yeah, advertising click-through rates are around about 1%, which still could be very high because you could have a very high number of views. We don't know what the click-through rate is going to be for news-based content. We just genuinely don't know at the moment, but it could be significant. And this is a platform, as I say, it's the #1 most downloaded platform. It is growing all the time, and it is already extraordinarily massive. And people are just leaving Facebook and Instagram in droves. If you get grant funding as your main thing, this is a great way to get views for your content and prove to grant funders that you are reaching, with great analytics, by the way, a different audience, a new audience, you know, and just generally a bigger audience. And it may be that if you get like grant funding, that you think, yeah, this is worth the time and investment to prove to our grant funders that we're actually dynamic, interesting, and engaging a lot of people. And then if you're working with advertising, small ethical advertising organizations, again, talk to Ethical Consumer for good brand deals potentially. Or you might have some advertisers you already work with. Again, they might be interested in that. And as Claudia's talked about, you've got Zebra there as well. So in terms of income generation, this could be very useful. It certainly will be useful in building brand profile and reach. Now, we've reached the end of the 45-minute session. We did start about 5 minutes late, but I feel like there's plenty of questions and answers here. So anyone who wants to stick around, I'm happy to keep this going for another 15, 20 minutes at least. Is everyone happy with that? Does that sound good? If it's not, give us a thumbs down like we're in a gladiator bout. Cool. I saw no thumbs down. Now that might be because you're lazy, it might not. But we've got a few questions in the comments. Claudia, do you want to try and address any of these?
Yeah, so I'm going to start from the top. For those of us who have the ability to share 10-minute videos, is that one of the options when recording live? I'm assuming by recording live, we're talking about recording in the app. Yeah, I don't actually have the 10-minute feature, and I would not recommend doing a 10-minute video. I know it is possible to record directly in the app for a 10-minute video because a content creator that I follow does that, but 10-minute videos give you the option of actually skipping. Like you can slide along the video. So I would not recommend, because I don't think people are actually watching the whole 10 minutes. Like I said, TikTok was originally made to be a short form video platform. A lot of the time, 3-minute videos are even too much unless it's really engaging. So yeah, even if you're resharing pre-recorded things, I wouldn't recommend doing them as long as 10 minutes. I would recommend doing like a 3-minute, 1-minute clip, and then linking back to the larger piece. What's the benefit of posting a story, and would the content be different? So as mentioned previously, the content, I wouldn't recommend producing the same content for a story as you would for your feed, because obviously there's no point of giving that much effort into it if it's only going to be there for 24 hours. And I would say the benefit of posting stories is kind of more to, for example, news. The way you could use it is you could do breaking news if you haven't got time to actually produce a whole TikTok video about it. You could just do because TikTok stories can be even just a picture. It doesn't have to be a video. So you can do something really quick on a TikTok story. The other benefit would also be just generally updating your followers. Like I said, engage with them a lot. So if there's something like going on at your organization that you want to update them about, but you don't want to dedicate a whole feed post to it, then a story would be a good place to do that. Remind me to talk about swearing on TikTok, Thomas. You wrote that.
Yeah, just to mention that, like, there are, you might swear, but in the captions, you might want to edit the captions so it doesn't use swear words, because it will screw you in the algorithm. So,
Oh,
like,
also,
yeah,
aside from screwing you in the algorithm, because TikTok is a Chinese app, they are very, very, very rigid when it comes to certain rules. So, if you're, for example, yeah, like Thomas said, edit out the swear words, because you could get done for hate speech. They could just take the video out for bullying and harassment. I've previously replied to someone in the comment telling them to shut up because they called me ugly, and I got taken down for harassment, and my account got banned for like 2 days. So just things like that, be cautious of them.
yeah, there's some keywords specifically that, well, I mean, you're not likely to be using the word sex, but if you do, they use, like, people use the word segs
Yeah.
instead. But killing, it, you might be reporting on, say, a murder or something like that. Don't use that term because it will get it flagged. So you use often the word unalived. I mean, it's difficult, but
Unalived is also used for suicide, because they also don't like the term suicide or killing yourself or anything of the sort.
yeah.
So that's another one. Okay, done with the swearing on TikTok.
Yeah, that's it. It's really, those are the couple of terms that you just need to be aware of. And again, what I would suggest is go on the ima.press, follow these profiles, spend a couple of days watching it, and you kind of get all those kind of things.
Okay, now about using existing videos shot horizontally and how to best edit for TikTok. There are third-party apps that you can download that would basically kind of just add the video as a further background on the video. But to be honest with you, I've shared podcast footage, and I've seen people share some podcast footage with being shot horizontally. I think the best practice, if you are going to do it, is just like, if you've got horizontal footage, add branding around it. So whether that's your logo or like the headline of what you're talking about in that particular snippet, like as a question in big letters, then that's a good way to fill the space. And you can add these in TikTok itself as well. So yeah, just try to fill the space, basically. Okay, this is someone saying bye. Can you reply to comment on other people? Okay, can you reply to comments on other people's videos with a video, or only on your own videos? You can only reply with a video on your own videos. You can't reply on someone else's video. You can reply to someone else's, like to a comment on someone else's video just with text, but you can't do it with a video.
Sorry, hold up. There was a previous question. Does TikTok work well for organizations, publications, or is it mostly about individuals?
Sorry, I missed it. Sorry,
No, that's cool. It's just a really good question, because I think it's the one that, like, independent media is looking to. I don't think organizations have nailed it largely, but that's okay. Like, back in 2005, I was on Facebook and I was like a club night promoter, and people politically didn't move onto Facebook until about 2010. Right. And then during the time of the Arab Spring, during that time, I built entire, like, club night and festival organizing businesses on Facebook, because people didn't, and Facebook pages and groups really didn't come through till 2012, 2013. We're in the early days, and it's good that other organizations haven't worked out how to use this well. Having said that, Navarra Media are on there, Politics Joe are on there, Unilad are on there. There are some ones that have already sort of made a transition and worked out. They've been smart. They've thought, yeah, what works? Let's make this. Remember, this whole thing is a conversation and it's storytelling. Think of it like that. Remember what the roots of journalism were. Remember what we were doing. We're telling stories to other people. If you can do that, I think organizations can do that. And that means that you could have an organization with several different presenters, and often there are channels like that, like the Sidemen and other things like that. You've got lots and lots of different people who appear. It's not just one. It's not just a channel associated with one person. it's associated with an organization, but the themes are the same, and the way that you sort of tell stories is roughly the same. And again, you don't even have to keep doing things the same all the way through. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, but I don't think it's been nailed yet. I think there's some good examples.
Just as a quick example of how it wasn't obviously journalistic organizations, but I've recently come across like a trend of how marketing companies have actually managed to utilize TikTok, which it sounds funny, but like marketing companies usually make everyone else do good on social media, but their platforms themselves do really fucking bad because no one really cares about their posts because their content's not great. Now, marketers have actually kind of taken away the corporate side of things and just given like the phone to their social media person and been like, make videos taking the piss out of the fact that you work for a marketing company and influencers are making like 7 times the money that you are making for them. I know that sounds quite complicated, but it's basically like just, I think the point that I'm trying to make here is taking like a very corporate organization and them kind of making themselves seem like they're friends with the people online. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of putting a real face to it and making it more relatable. And they've done really, really good. So that's a way in like in which
Actually,
someone
and that
started covering
speaks
you.
to the human thing, doesn't it? Like again, I think the places where people have failed is when they've tried to do something overly produced. Journo Resources, who remembers the IMA, I think started off by trying to do things that are very much almost like BBC, like we're going to tell you a few things about this, and you know, like doing explainer videos. You can do explainer videos, but even with lists and everything like that, but make it a conversation, make it someone chatting to someone, not something that's really overly produced, very formulaic and static. You'd be better just chatting to your camera phone than trying to produce something really heavily edited and really smart. Like you're just way better doing that. It's got to be human beings telling stories. That's what it's got to be so far.
Here are the top 3 independent media stories of the day. I had the screenshots of the stories. I was talking everyone through exactly the little bits of the story, and they did okay, but they didn't do great. And then the moment I just kind of took a camera phone and was like, "Did you guys see what Boris Johnson did today?" And then gave them a brief rundown of what was happening. It got like 150,000 views because people like the kind of human side of it, and that's why podcasts do well. That's why snippets of like podcasts and stuff do well, because obviously it's a bit more of an intimate.
Yeah.
Setting.
And it's not like you don't need a green screen for this. You can have the picture of your article that's on the website behind you whilst you're talking. So you can
TikTok has
have
a
that,
green
but
screen.
don't just try and read through it. Talk about it. Like, I can't believe we've covered this. This is amazing. Can you believe that like people are getting away with this, or that this is happening, or we need to talk about whatever it is, you know, like start with a little bit of pep and just talk about the thing, you know. And that's a difficulty if you come from a very staid journalist background, is obviously we focus on factual reporting. It doesn't mean the stuff can't be totally factual, but the tone needs to be conversational.
Also, TikTok, sorry, you mentioned the green screen. TikTok actually has a green screen picture and video filter, so you can have a video playing in the back of you as well while you're talking over it, like, or talking about what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, what are the questions were there?
The last one was Amy's question on promotion work. How is it useful to get people to click-through rate, essentially? So I feel like we kind of touched on that.
Cool. While we've got people here, would anyone like to ask some questions, unmute themselves and ask a question? We've got a hand up from Philippa.
Yeah. I've got a personal account that I use just on a personal level. When I set one up for a charity I used to work for, I put it as a business account and instantly lost access to most of the sounds. Because business accounts can't access a lot of the trending sounds. So presuming we're here because we want to set we're interested in setting things up for the publication we work for, do we set it up as a business?
How did you set up Bywire, Claudia?
My personal account and the Bywire one is both as business. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make money through TikTok the way I do. So I'm a bit confused. I don't actually have a. Can I circle back to you on that? Can I do some research and get back to you on that?
Yeah, we'll try and include an article in the when we release the YouTube. We'll put a list of articles underneath, and hopefully we'll find a resource that answers that. It might be because your organization as a charity was a kick or registered charity, and they are governed by
yeah,
because they are you know, by a law that's been nicknamed the gag law, where like they're very limited by what they're actually allowed to say, charities, politically speaking. That law came in 2013, 2014. The Cameron administration brought it in. So that might be the reason, because I think if you're a limited company, you should be fine, or if you're, which are cooperatives are also limited companies. So yeah, but that would be just off the top of my head. I don't know, but that's a supposition.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I see Amy hovering. I feel like Amy's got.
She's waving by. She just said, "I've got to go." Yeah.
Okay, cool. Brendan, you're on mute. Lovely.
I did exactly the thing you warned against, which was just scroll. I just got basically nudity, stupid jokes, people playing pranks on their model girlfriends. It was horrific. But I'm wondering, can people who people don't just want to look at on that platform cut through?
Yeah. So basically,
say that more bluntly.
The way the For You page basically works is, until TikTok's it's like a baby. When you go on it, it's a baby. It doesn't know anything about you. It doesn't know what you like. So you kind of have to customize it yourself. You kind of have to. That's why Tom keeps saying to follow the pages that we're following, follow whatever pages you want to follow, and then in the search engine, obviously, if you also type in the kind of topics that interest you and like those kind of videos, then your whole For You page will change. And similarly, obviously on the receiving end of that, if you make sure that within your videos you tag appropriate hashtags, and obviously if you follow the same kind of accounts, your content will then be obviously transferred onto their For You pages, and you won't be coming up amongst naked ladies getting pranked by their boyfriends. Don't worry, mine was the same. When I logged on for like a good month, my For You page was just 12-year-old dancing, and I was like, I am a 24-year-old woman. I do not want to watch this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's really bleak, but weirdly enough, it's not what lots of people are watching. And so like I was recommended, thankfully, by a friend, you know, some profiles of some key sort of like political influencers, but also like I was searching for stuff on permaculture. So just hashtag permaculture, you know, hashtag gardening. I just looked for gardening, permaculture, tea, you know, like, you know, how to plant stuff. So you use it like a search engine. Start off by using it like a search engine first and foremost, because the algorithm will then learn, you know, you and then you're, because it does essentially work by you just flicking through videos, and you end, once you've done a bunch of searches in the first couple of weeks, you end up not needing to do searches really again until you maybe have a very specific need. It will sort of work out. So but and so that's you as an individual. Then you as an organization, the people who are looking for, you know, environmentalism, political news, you know, stuff like that, will find you. But also you'll cross-pollinate by doing things, by using trending sounds, using the occasional hashtag or political crisis. Like I say, you'd be talking about the strikes today, and people will be going through and they'll be watching all different kinds of videos on strikes, because it'll just be coming up. It'll be, you know, on the one hand, you know, conservative commentators saying we're going back to the 1970s and we must end them. And then on the other hand, you'll see trade union leaders. By the way, a very good account is actually the TUC have learned how to, they're probably, out of the political organizations I've seen, the TUC have been the best at using TikTok so far. Like, and they're getting loads and loads of clips of their spokespeople chatting on the news or chatting on picket lines and putting forward why strikes must happen. Great. Well, if you did a hashtag strikes today, then you'd cut through, you'd start finding your audience as well. So it's all about hashtags.
And the other thing is also, when you follow one account, TikTok has a drop down menu of loads of recommended accounts that basically produce the same content as them. So it kind of just does that job for you. So
okay, that makes sense.
all right, I am
yeah, we're out of time, aren't we? Unless, was there anything absolutely burning? Beautiful. Okay, we've covered a lot. We're here to chat about this more, and we're not saying go one way or t'other, but we are saying there's an opportunity here. It might work for your organizations. It might put you in front of a lot more eyeballs, and that might be worthwhile. Sometimes it's not. Maybe you've got a very niche audience that you need to contact or engage with in a particular way. But we wanted to open that discussion. There's going to be plenty more coming. We're going to be doing we're going to be doing workshops on podcasting, on we're speaking to data content reach, on different methods of using social media and maximizing it. We're going to be doing other workshops on other things that escape me right now, but they're all going to be really good. We've got about 5 more coming over the next few months, and if you can't make them, you can always send me questions beforehand, because there will be recordings of all of them. So yeah, I hope anyone who's been watching this has enjoyed it. I hope you guys, it was worthwhile and useful for you, and you can always contact the IMA with any questions you've got. Thanks so much. Have a lovely day.
Bye,
See
everyone.
you
Have a
all.
nice day.
Bye.